So we'll go ahead and get started. I just want to say, though, good afternoon and welcome everyone. Again, just check your cell phones, if you would, before we get started. This is the January 9th, 2024 Hardin County Fiscal Court regular voting meeting. Let's begin and call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Squire Clem.
Here.
Squire Hicks.
Here.
Squire Muse.
Here.
Squire Pennington.
Here.
Squire Saltzman.
Here.
Squire Thompson.
Here.
Squire Whitehead.
Here.
Squire Yates.
Here.
Judge Tall.
Here. All right, next we'll have our invocation by Magistrate Thompson and Pledge of Allegiance by Magistrate Clem.
Would you pray with me? Father God, today, in the quiet and stillness, hear our voice, hear our prayers. Lord, we thank you for this community, for our county, for our cities here, for our state and our nation. Lord, for all those who commit themselves to serving through our government and for our government. We thank you, and we thank you, Father, for those willing to step forward and do what is right. Today, Lord God, we pray that you would bless this meeting, that all that we do would be good and right before you and good and right for the people we serve. Bless us today as we meet and as we act on the business of this county. I pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I just have a few opening comments here. Again, thanks again for joining today, our first court of 2024. So I just want to say Happy New Year to all of you. I hope your Christmas was joyful and a joyful time with some, family and friends. So I do know that, I don't think he's here, our Emergency Management Director, Joey Scott, he was sick the whole time. So I felt really bad for him and his family, but he is back with us and healing up and healed up. So glad to have him back. 2023 was a very eventful year, I think. I don't have maybe a lot to compare to necessarily, but it seemed eventful to me. And I just want to take a few minutes and review maybe a few accomplishments as I see them and maybe as we look forward to 2024 and speak on that just a moment. So first of all, I'd like to talk a little bit about a comprehensive study that addressed the Blue Oval battery plant impacts on Hardin County. That was completed mid-year, and that was led by our Deputy Judge Executive, Vicki Meredith. And this study focused on water and sewer, emergency service, infrastructure expansion, especially in the Glendale planning area. So we felt like this was, we had basically a timeline to deal with here because one of the main purposes of pulling this together was to identify all these things and get with our legislators. They start to have committee meetings and everything, even middle of the year in preparation for the session that they're in right now. But this did require a lot of collaboration and partnership with Hardin County officials, Elizabethtown city officials, water districts, industrial foundation, planning and development, Kentucky Economic Development, BOSC, Lincoln Trail Ad. I just keep on going. It was just a huge, I think, adventure of pulling a bunch of organizations and people together and working together to come up with a really good idea of where we need to go over the next years and prepare ourselves for growth in this county. So I'm very proud that we were able to do that. I guess the proof is in the pudding, as they say, as the legislators are meeting and discussing these things now. And we made a bunch of trips to Frankfurt and met with Senator Deneen and our representatives. Lots of different meetings discussing these things, reviewing them with them, answering their questions. So I feel like we did our due diligence in preparation, and I know there's more work to do even now as they meet and go meet with them, as they ask and request, and continue to work through this session. So at the end of it, of course, the results, I hope that we are able to funnel some much needed money, millions of dollars worth, into this county to help us to prepare for growth. In addition to that, we had a lot of effort put into emergency services. We developed an advisory team that was established and led by Joey Scott, our emergency management director. And the makeup of this team really gave us a seasoned bunch of people in fire and ambulance services, 911, just a really good cross-section of very knowledgeable people. And you add up their experience, hundreds of years worth of experience. So I was very pleased that we were able to meet multiple times starting in April of last year, and we were able to, some of the achievements, I guess, in 2023 from this team is that we were able to evaluate a lot of our current state of emergency services using some of our knowledge, their knowledge, and 911 response data that is readily available, and able to get a feel for what the current state of emergency services and fire and ambulance specifically. And so through those meetings and, late summer, I believe, into the fall, the team recommended a detailed study by a third-party consulting firm that would dig deeply into what these services look like right now and understand what the current state is, and then provide us with a detailed future plan, if you will, about a six-year strategy for Hardin County. And so hopefully we will be able to start this study early this year and as soon as we can, and be able to get the results of that study, later this year, probably at least 6 months, maybe longer than that, before they would be able to complete it. So look forward to those results. In addition to that, another topic or another initiative was to work on emphasis on increased transparency with an everyone included budget process that we implemented last year with a new finance committee structure in conjunction with the leadership of our treasurer, Lisa Pierman. And even though it was a little messy at times and, stuff, that was to be expected. And I really expect that we'll try to do the same type of process again in 2024. Be starting up here pretty soon, actually. Other transparency and communication improvements include full access to all of our resolutions and ordinances before they're voted on, except for some private personnel information. Emphasis on social media as a tool to inform our citizens in this county. We saw about a 33% growth in that. In 2023, we have some website improvements that we're still working on. Increase in local radio communication. I know we work quite a bit with Quixie and others. And then, of course, we adjusted some fiscal court times and agenda, and of course, the quarterly town hall meetings that have been moving around through the county. Having one coming up this month, actually, and look forward to. So all of these things, hopefully we are providing better ability to communicate with each other and understand how we can improve this county. So those are probably the big three. I'll just mention a few others that deserve some honorable mention, I guess. Broadband grant money, we are definitely out to get some of that money that's coming into the state and being spread throughout. And it'll be available in 2024. The installation of high-speed fiber requires companies that actually want to help us, so we can't go out and do that ourselves. So we have to find a company at the end of the day, or maybe a few companies that will do the work and want to do the work. And so we're in the middle of that now. Mike Leo, our E911 director, is leading the way. And so we want to maximize any grant money we can get to expand the service to unserved and underserved citizens in our rural areas of the county. The EMS department is evaluating methods to reduce costs, and we've been working hard on that and to improve service. I know that the supplies are monitored more closely now, saving money, along with some other process improvements that have been implemented. Emergency management applied for and was awarded some grant funds for some needed items. E911 dispatch grew in 2023 with an expansion of services to include the dispatch of Radcliffe City Police while maintaining a high standards for call taking. So just kind of give you an idea, I think Mr. Leo has reported these types of numbers before, but almost 97% of the calls are answered from 0 to 10 seconds. So under 10 seconds, 110,000 of them in 2023. 98.5% of the 911 calls were answered in less than 15 seconds. So these are just some of the statistics that I think that this department and our county can be proud of, and know that we have a very well-trained group of people in that department. County road improvements led by Dwight Morgan, our road department supervisor, included millions of dollars of repaved county roads. So to give you an idea, in 2023, there were 128 roads that were repaved, 76 miles, and this cost almost $6 million to do it. So that's quite an achievement, I believe. And of course, most of those funds were ARPA funds, one-time ARPA funds. So we're thankful for them, but I hope no one thinks that at this point in time anyway that we can consistently use or find $6 million every year. But we certainly were able to use it, and I think a lot of people saw some improvements on the roads, some of the worst roads in the county. County engineering completed a new set of road standards for new developments and repairs that will increase the life of those roads and reduce costs as we go into the future. So I'm excited about that as new developments spring up. Also, in our Public Works Director, Stephanie Givens, we worked together with Platform, and I believe we've stabilized garbage pickup by the end of the year of 2023. More work to be done there, but at least I think most people are satisfied with that service. There are many other department improvements, so I'm going to wrap up and just say that Animal Care and Control Department by Mike McNutt, him and his team handled over 1,800 complaints and did an outstanding job in 2023. So I will make a change here and just talk a little bit about 2024 as we look ahead. Some of the things that I believe that we will be working on and focused on. Of course, right off the bat, we're already starting on looking at the budget for 2024. We need to balance the budget with a lot of pressures. We still see, as most of you would know, a lot of wage inflation that's going on. And so we need to figure out how to handle that and how to move forward with that in our budget. So that'll be quite a challenge. I'm sure we'll be able to handle it. And you know, even for this next budget cycle, it's going to be a tight budget. So it will be a lot of teamwork involved there to make that work. We're going to still, at the same time, work with the legislators, as I've already spoken about, during the legislative session to steer as much of the financial support as we possibly can into Hardin County. And then, of course, make some plans as we see some results there, I hope. Complete studies of the sewer expansion in southern part of the county as needed, and develop a future plan and begin sewer expansion as we can with the possibility of a new sewer treatment plant if needed. Once we get that study back, we'll need to see what happens there. And of course, these things take quite a bit of time. If it does come out that we need a new sewer plant in the sewer treatment plant in the southern part of the county, I mean, we're talking probably at least 5 years before we, to make that happen. It may even take longer. So it puts a little bit of pressure on us to move forward and get the study done, understand if we need it, and then we're ready to move forward with it and make it happen. Utilize the Emergency Service Advisory Team consultant study that will be starting up soon to begin basically a 6-year process of improvement in fire protection and ambulance response times. This will probably mean that we're going to need some additional staffed ambulances that will be placed in some other locations in the county to reduce our response time. So we're going to see what that's going to look like and how many more ambulances we may need, how we're going to pay for that. All those fun things are coming up. We have broadband high speed. I've mentioned it, and we really do want, I have a goal there to serve everyone in Hardin County in the next 2 to 3 years. So that's definitely a big goal. Support planning and development. They have a plan to study the Glendale downtown area and develop a good plan to preserve and enhance that area of the county with all the growth that's coming to that area. And so I know that Adam King is looking forward, I believe, to working with the people in Glendale and get that study pulled together and get a good strategy and a plan for the future. Transparency, again, is a continual evaluation that we're doing for that. End up with enhanced with a new user-friendly website. I believe it will be much easier to navigate with better information, up-to-date information, other media improvements. Continued focus on the trash collection consistency. I know people basically want to put their trash out and it's gone, okay? So that's our goal, that happens consistently throughout 2024 and beyond. And we'll continue to partner with Platform to make sure that happens. We're to develop some metrics to help us with that. I'm kind of a metric guy. I want to see come up with some good ways to do that. Of course, one way is just to measure complaints. It's kind of after the fact, but still we want to make sure that we understand how many are coming in, what type of complaints, and that we're addressing those and we're seeing the number of complaints reduced throughout the year. EMS financial studies are needed to minimize the tax money required to subsidize this service as much as we can. And we're working on some metrics again are being developed and have been developed and monitored, started to monitor those in December and earlier, and to clearly show the status improvements of those. So there's work to be done there. And then effectively implement the expansion of the industrial taxing district for the remainder of the unincorporated Hardin County. And we're doing this to bring even our current status of some of our service up a level. But as we grow, then we definitely need to understand how we're going to pull that revenue into the county It's a lot of work to do all of that, and we'll try to do it as effectively and efficiently as we possibly can, and be able to fund some of the growth that is going to be required. So those are just some of the goals that I see coming at us. Hopefully didn't miss any major one here, but I feel that this is a lot of work ahead of us. But I believe that we have a great team, and I'm confident that we will make significant improvements as we plan for all this growth coming our way. So I'm very optimistic and about all of it. So hopefully that gives you a bit of a snapshot of where we're at and where we're headed. Okay. With that, we'll move on. And we need to approve the Hardin County Fiscal Court minutes from December 22nd. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, is a roll call?
Squire Clem,
Yes.
Squire Hicks,
Yes.
Squire Muse,
Yes.
Squire Pennington,
Yes.
Squire Saltzman,
Yes.
Squire Thompson,
Yes.
Squire Whitehead,
Yes.
Squire Yates,
Yes.
Judge Tall.
Yes, motion passes. All right, we'll move on into some department and office reports and presentations. We'll start out with planning by Adam King.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
All right, I've got the November and December report from the Planning Commission. Go through a few items here that went before the Planning Commission and Board of Adjustment. First up, this was a zone change request from Rocky Top Estates. This is a 5-acre site down close to Glendale between South Dixie and I-65. The zone change request was from the R2 to the C2 General Commercial Zone to allow for a 40-space RV park. This would be connected to Hardin County Water District Number 2 sewer system. This piece of property, if you're familiar with the old Dutch Girl Motel, it'd be right across the street from that. Next, back in Glendale, this was Improv Properties. This was a half-acre site there next to the Christian Church's parking lot. So they were requesting a zone change from R1, a residential zone, to the B2 Tourist and Convenience Commercial Zone that's unique to downtown Glendale. What they were proposing to do here is preserve the existing house, but then tear that barn down to potentially build a restaurant. So this project would also be connected to Hardin County Water District Number 2 sewer system, and they also requested and received variances from the side and rear setbacks down there to make that possible. This was an item that came before the Board of Adjustment, Juanita and David Spalding out on Deckard School Road to build a 624 square foot permanent accessory dwelling. They'd already put a shared driveway in place, so to build that small cottage in the backyard for the mother-in-law. Lastly here, this is St. Ambrose Catholic Church in Cecilia. They had come before the Board of Adjustment back in March to do an addition. Needed to be too close to St. Ambrose Church Lane. That was approved. Throughout the building permit process with the state, they had to redesign the addition, needed to end up even getting closer, so we had to take that back through the Board of Adjustment, but they did receive their variance. Building permit's been issued, footer has already been poured. So these will kind of be our year-end numbers here. Again, looking at November and December, but I've got the whole year on here. So it was a busy year for us with public hearings, 17 zone changes, 28 conditional use permits went before the board, and 27 variances. Looking at plats and lots, so the number of plats recorded for 2023, we were at 89 plats. Very similar to 2022 when we were at 91. And then looking at the new lots created, 81 new lots for the year, How that compares to 2022, we were at 77. So very, very similar years. Looking at permits issued, 535 building permits for the year. That compares to 2022 when we were at 508. And then electrical, we were at 1,111. That is down from 1,230 in 2022. Most likely, I would attribute that to the city of Vine Grove took over their own electrical inspection program. Same inspector, but they now process the paperwork. So that's what I most likely attribute that to. Single-family dwellings. So the maps there on the right, we did 113 new single-family dwellings for the year, and then 6 duplexes. So 125 total housing units. That compares to 112 in 2022. So the numbers were up. Average square footage under roof was 2,895, and the average construction cost reported to our office was $265,482. Inspections, 1,643 footers for the year. That compares to 1,555 for 2022. My staff and I, kind of in the Christmas spirit here, down in Owensboro, so we presented our presentation to a group of planners down there, about 50, and our presentation was titled "'Twas the Year Before Bosque." So sort of a 2023 wrap-up, and also kind of went over some of our comprehensive planning that we've been doing here. Also, I did win the award for Best Dressed. This is some exciting news. Again, Judge Tall hinted on it, but my staff made application through this Creating Vibrant Communities Technical Assistance Program to the Transportation Cabinet. We ended up winning the award, or winning the grant, so it'll be over $100,000 worth of planning and engineering work that Hardin County Fiscal Court, Hardin County Planning and Development will not pay for. Transportation Cabinet's paying for it. 3 different consultants, be about a year-long process studying downtown Glendale, how to preserve what we've got, how to protect what we've got, and how to even enhance it and truly keep it a unique place in Hardin County. I've got to give a shout out, Haley Goodman in my office. She put our application together. She created the maps. But out of 14 applications, we received the winning prize.
Congratulations.
Thank you. No, that's something, I've been here 16 years, and this is something I've always wanted to work on, but we've never quite had the time. We got to handle what's coming through the door. So with some outside consultants, we're really going to be able to give it the attention it deserves. So it should be really good. Lastly, comprehensive plan. So the draft comprehensive plan will be ready to unveil next Tuesday. So we are going to have an open house here on the 3rd floor in the room across the hall. Everyone's invited. That'll be running from about 4:30 to 6:30. So you can just drop in at any time. There is no formal presentation, but the plan will go live then. We'll have a lot of boards set up of some of the major changes. So looking forward to that. And again, everybody's invited. So if you're interested, stop by. That's all I've got. Happy to answer any questions y'all might have.
All right. Thank you very much.
Adam, I appreciate your work toward the Glendale area. Things are popping out there. Biggest concern that I hear from many of the residents is actually the traffic they can handle, but it's the speeding and the risk in entering the traffic patterns. So they've asked that we emphasize any way we can, I suppose, enforcement of speed limits. So if those authorities that can deal with it, that hear this and can respond, our community would appreciate that.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, next is Public Works, Stephanie Gibbons.
Good afternoon, Judge and Magistrates.
Good afternoon.
So I have the solid waste code enforcement updates. We'll start off with code enforcement for November through December. We had 1 case received within the month of November, 2 cases were closed, and 24 outstanding as of November 30th. In the month of December, we had 2 cases received, 2 cases were closed, and still 24 outstanding cases as of December 31st. On our shredding event that we do once a month, for our year-to-date vehicles, we did 337 vehicles and 358 bags of shredding. This is a 1-hour shredding event that we do down at the road department. 2023 was the first year that we started that program and utilized it, so it turned out to be a pretty good event. I think that most of the public like to be there for. For the recycling totals, for November we had 34 trailer runs, and in December we had 39 trailer runs. You can see there at the breakdown on what was collected and how many tons of it was collected. So the total number of everything recycled from the trailer drop-off points was 306.883 tons of materials that was kept out of our landfill. On information about the Pearl Hollow landfill, the next open days from 7 to 2 p.m. is going to be February the 10th and March 9th. Those are the Saturdays that the landfill is open. They're only open 1 Saturday per month now. The next free dump day will be May 11th. That's our first one of the year to be in the spring, May 11th from 7 to 2. Just to remember, make sure all of your loads are secured and tarped as you come in, then that way you don't drop your debris down the highway and on Audubon Trace before you get there. There is the phone number there listed on the slide for additional questions if you have it for the landfill there at the scale house. The ladies will be glad to answer any of your additional questions. This is another program that I take care of. It's the deceased farm animal removals. You can see there for the month of November, they had 17 pickups, and month of December, we had 12 pickups. That's also a total of 201 total animals that was picked up throughout the county. This is also another grant that we try to apply for every year and help with the cost of these removals for these farmers. For upcoming events, the next shredding date is going to be February 1st from 1 to 2. And it's again located at the County Road Department, 501 Bacon Creek Road. You can pick your first shred bag up in the Public Works Department. When you take it and drop it off, they'll be more than happy to give you an additional bag when you drop it off. I just got some additional information today about a couple of other events, and we'll talk about these more throughout the year. However, anybody listening that would like to go ahead and make a note of it, our E-Scrap Day has now been scheduled for April the 27th at AGC, and that is going to be from 8 to 2. So again, that's E-Scrap Day is April 27th from 8 to 2 at AGC. And then we have also got it scheduled for Household Hazardous Waste will be August the 17th from 8 to 2 at Matosa. So they roughly happen in the same months. It just depends on the Saturdays on when we can get them scheduled, but that's what we've got so far this year.
Can you repeat that last household, please?
Sure. So Household Hazardous Waste will be August 17th, and E-Scrap is April 27th.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
All right. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next up, engineering, Vicki Meredith. She's got more hair than you, Dwight, so
I'll arm wrestle and see who comes up. I don't think I can carry it off like you do, so. Good afternoon, Judge and Magistrates. I just wanted to spend a few minutes this afternoon to talk with you. As you know, I am currently wearing 2 hats. I am, in addition to being the deputy judge here in Hardin County, now that we don't have a county engineer, I've stepped back into that role. That is an interim role, and we are actively looking for a county engineer. So if anyone knows of anyone, please direct them to our website, because the advertisement is up, and certainly we want to get a good qualified person in here to help us move forward. A lot of the things the judge was talking about definitely fall into the engineering realm, so we want to make sure that we have good people. For those at home that, I know you magistrates know, but for the people at home that have never met me before, the reason I'm able to step into this position is I am a professional engineer. I was the first county engineer here in Hardin County, started in 2006, and held that position for 15 years. So I'm very familiar with what's going on in the county, and I always tease the judge about how much I enjoyed, and if he doesn't treat me right, I'm going back downstairs. But that hasn't happened yet, and everything's going well. But anyway, so currently we have a consultant that's working with me and the county as we're moving forward, and there are numerous tasks that are underway. So even though we don't have that county engineer, there's a lot of things going on here in Hardin County. There are, just to give you some idea of some of the activities, we have 5 different site development plans that we're looking at, different construction activities. Some of them are residential, some of them are commercial businesses, but those are all being looked at and make sure they meet the county standards. With regard to any type of permitting or contract activity, the Middle Creek Bridge, we're monitoring the design work that's underway by Contact to make sure that that project continues to move forward. Upper Colesburg road drainage and the creek bank stabilization, that was permitted through the Kentucky Division of Water, and of course the road department now is working in that area quite significantly. Just a reminder to everyone, we do permit all floodplain activities, and there have been numerous requests for work in and around floodplains. Permits are required, and also with regard to the area in the Rolling Fork watershed. That was an area that was recently, within the last couple of years, the Division of Water actually did an upgrade to. And when they went in there, some of the elevations actually went up, because that's a watershed that's very unique to Hardin County. It goes along the eastern side, and it is what they consider a backwater. So that means all the water comes down through the Salt River. Rolling Fork comes into it. It can't go anywhere, so it starts backing up like a bathtub. And there's literally miles that it will just be flat, and it holds it until Salt River goes on, and then Rolling Fork can go in. So it's one of those unique hydraulic areas. And historically, we've not had good information with regard to the actual flooding elevation. So we have adopted those elevations. They are in place now. So if you live in and around that area, come in for any type of improvements, look to do any construction in that area, then you can expect those, almost in all situations, the flood elevation has gone up. And that is a much better report, a study that's done by the Division of Water, so it's much more accurate, and it is what's required by FEMA for us to make sure it's done properly. Charlie's also been working with West Point on the Ohio River bank stabilization. The RFP is out for that. That's something that the mayor has taken a lead on, and so we're moving forward with working with him to make sure we can work and move forward and get that bank restabilized. As we've talked briefly before, there's a lot of work going on in Glendale. Some of the issues that are there obviously have to do with increase in traffic impacts. A couple of the items that we're looking at currently is that the BOSC employees that are working at Old East Hardin Middle School and park in some of the parking lots, especially down by the Christian church, they want some crosswalks, because apparently there's a lot of traffic and it's somewhat difficult for them to get across. So we're trying to spearhead that, see what we can do with the Department of Transportation and move that forward. And then they also have an issue with GPS routing trucks on some of the county maintained roads, especially East Railroad Avenue, and the turning radius there, when trucks try to turn in there by that antique building and the railroad track, they don't quite make it, and they've been hitting that building. So we're trying to work directly with the Department of Transportation to put bollards up, the road department, what we can do, try to do something that's safe, that doesn't cause an extra hazard, but protects the building and everything that's going on there. So that is definitely underway. With regard to our stormwater permit, we did have an annual review. There were a few comments, so we're responding to those comments now. Some of it has to do with mapping, so it may take a while to get it all up to speed, but that's definitely underway. And also, we are actually working on some manuals, ordinances, and design requirements. The stormwater manual has not been updated. Pieces of it have been addressed, but a true update to it hasn't been done. Probably, I think I inherited one when I first came, and a true update has not been done. So we're in the process of doing that. There's a lot, it's a good manual, but it needs some tweaks. So we're going to go through the whole thing and update that. Another one we're looking at is to develop some type of sinkhole development ordinance as we're moving forward, and the properties in Hardin County that are left to be developed are ones that I always refer to as being more challenging. We've pretty much developed a lot of the farmland that we've had historically that was just flat, easy to build on and everything. It's not that the properties that are left are undevelopable by any means. There's just some more challenges. And some of that has to do with sinkholes, and we certainly want to make sure that we are protecting those sinkholes, making sure that we're not allowing any type of our new roads to go over top of them, not allowing any backfilling, so no houses. We don't want any structural issues with that. And certainly, as we know, the flow of the water through sinkholes is extremely important. We don't know what goes on underneath. We want to make sure that as much as possible, hands off. Protect it and hands off. Stay away from the sinkholes, let Mother Nature take its course, and we'll leave it that way. So that's kind of where we're headed. So we're going to be looking at that to see how we can implement an ordinance or standards for that. And the other one that we're still working on is solar development design requirement standards. As we're moving forward, solar development has some unique challenges. Right now, Hardin County doesn't have any of those stormwater regulations in particular in place. So we want to move forward just in case we need them. So there are the stormwater permit that we have is based on a national NPDES permit. It's given to the state of Kentucky. It's also given to all the other states. So what I'm doing is looking at other states. Minnesota in particular has some pretty robust solar requirements to make sure that it's done properly, stormwater works properly, pre and post development design criteria is there. So we're looking around the country and taking the best of what's out there and bringing that to Kentucky to make sure that we are well protected. Erosion and sediment control limitations, obviously, and also you may be aware that the state is currently working on some improvements, some changes, some additions to their decommissioning requirements for that. So all of that's going to be pulled into some of our development requirements as we can make it as legal as possible as we're working with Jenny and moving forward. So just want to make sure that it's in place just in case we need it. And of course, this one's for Fred. I want to make sure that I finish this presentation the way I've always done it historically. Because if it's on the ground, it's in your water. Cleaning stormwater is everybody's responsibility. So I'm sure you guys of the past remember that. So. Any questions from anyone on any of this?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate it. All right. Next is Dwight Morgan, Road Supervisor.
Happy New Year
Happy New Year.
and good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I do have your road department report for the month of November and December. Your encroachment permits were down. Road signs, you can look there when you get over to the other. We have picked back up on our traffic counters. So those are out at least 4 days a week. So we're getting new traffic counts on our roads. In order to get those done, it'll take about a year to do that. So, but we've gotten quite a bit done so far. So daily work activities, we have been utilizing the inmates for pothole patching, and we've kind of started using them for some other projects around the shop and our buildings. So we've gotten pretty well caught up on our pothole patching. So we've got them kind of directed on doing some other things, so. Bridge repair, we'll show you a slide at the end of our, my presentation today. Mow trimming is something that we do, try to do every day if the machine is not down for repair, but for the most part, it's been up and running. Shoulder and ditching, we, as Vicki mentioned, we have started on our discretionary funded road, Upper Colesburg Road, on ditching and cross tile replacement. And this time of year is kind of the time of year that we focus on our tree removal, tree trimming. So we do a lot of our county roads with dead trees and so forth. We try to be proactive, and when these big windstorms come up, hopefully that saves us a lot of grief overnight. So it seems like they always come through overnight. We always have our calls overnight, seems like. But we do have several storms in the making for over the next week, so with high winds. We finished our last, we had 2 roads for our flex fund. So we'll traditionally, we've always seemed to run late in the fiscal year on getting these completed. They did get completed before the end of the year, so our funding should be, we should get reimbursed for all those funding dollars that we've had to pay out. So that's a good thing. Last slide. We've had some bridges which have had some deficiencies. This is Solway Meeting Creek. That's a bridge between Hardin County and Grayson County. Part of it, there's a state road on it, but I guess unfortunately for us, the part of the road that we've got consists of one of our more expensive bridges, so we get the pleasure of maintaining it, and this is something we needed to, we've known this probably for about 18 months. The big problem was getting that piece of equipment that's shown there in this slide. This is a bridge boom. It's a very expensive piece of equipment to rent, and my road crew, they worked on this bridge probably about a week. We had a couple other, we had another bridge and a box culvert that we needed to do some guardrail repair on, and we were able to complete that. But I do want to, my hat's off to our District 4 office, our bridge engineer, David Kemper is who I speak with most all the time. And I will say that David's gone to bat for us. He's been very helpful to me and always answers my calls or returns his calls. And I just want to tell him how much I really appreciate him and thank him. He's been a great asset to Hardin County. So that's all I have. Any questions?
The Colesburg Road project, that doesn't run the entire length of that, does it? It's just where it's needed.
Upper Colesburg Road?
Yes.
Yes, it's the entire.
The entire?
length of it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking you may just be looking at particular areas, but
No, it's,
that's good. Thank you.
anything else?
Dwight, what's the projected completion date on that Colesburg Road?
Well, the big thing is the bank stabilization that we're going to have to do. Mm-hmm. I can't really give you a definite time. We're going to have to wait. You know, normally at springtime you're going to have major rainstorms, and so we're going to look at the drier portion of the year to do that, which I'm going to say is going to be, you know, late summer. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say probably fall is my hope to get it completed. We do have 3 years from the time we're awarded for completion. So, I would, if you wanted a definite time, I would say somewhere around mid-fall.
The fall. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Dwight.
you.
Appreciate it. All right. There are some other written reports that were available to review. And we'll move on then to any citizens' concerns or comments. If anybody wants to come forward, speak on a topic. Okay, I don't see anyone. So we'll move on to the next agenda item, which we have one resolution. So we want to approve Resolution 2024-005. This is related to Hutcherson Road annexation. It's a consent. And basically, it's a small portion of this road, only about a quarter of a mile, but it is from Kentucky 447 to US 31W. And we, through this, we would be giving consent for Elizabethtown to annex it and place it into their maintenance system. So is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call.
Squire Clem,
Yes.
Squire Hicks,
No.
Squire Muse,
Yes.
Squire Pennington,
Yes.
Squire Saltzman,
Yes.
Squire Thompson,
Yes.
Squire Whitehead,
Yes.
Squire Yates,
Yes.
Judge Tall.
Yes, motion passes. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Pretty short one this meeting. We have the typical claims, paying our bills, and item D on related financial transfers. And then, I'm sorry, item B is resolution 2024-001 related to EMS personnel changes. Item C is resolution 2024-002 related to Tetra Tech work orders. And again, this is some landfill services, required landfill regulatory compliance engineering services that we need to take care of. And then the last two items are minutes from last year from the Resource and Community Support Committee and Public Works Committee. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call.
Squire Clem,
Yes.
Squire Hicks,
Yes.
Squire Muse,
Yes.
Squire Pennington,
Yes.
Squire Saltzman,
Yes.
Squire Thompson,
Yes.
Squire Whitehead,
Yes.
Squire Yates,
Yes.
Judge Tall.
Yes, motion passes. All right, we'll move on into our comment time of the meeting. Does our county attorney have any comments? Okay, what about our county clerk?
Just briefly, you heard me all talking about the rollout of the state's new CAVIS software program. Today was Hardin County's Go Live Day. It wasn't great. The system is buggy as the Grinch's teeth, and I'm not particularly thrilled about it. Our staff did an amazing job this morning to try and help as many folks as possible, but transactions are taking too long. Some of them are incorrect in the system, and we don't have the ability to correct them. We're going to give this another shot tomorrow. We are reporting all of those issues to the team that we are being told is working around the clock to improve that. I'm asking for continued patience from the public. If you have a standard renewal, especially if yours was due in December, please come in. Feel free to come in. Those seem to be mostly working okay. Again, be patient with us. The lines are going to be long. We're going to take it one customer at a time, one day at a time through this process, and trying to assist our other fellow county clerks in sharing information on what is and what isn't working. But I think, I will tell you, everybody who came in today, the general public was really, really patient, really understanding. We even had a woman who left our office, drove to Kroger, picked up 3 packs of donuts and brought them back to thank the staff for how they're handling that. So that's enough on that issue. I want to thank the county EMS team. During one of the days when vehicle was shut down, I don't ever like to let my staff sit too idle. So we put them through CPR training, first aid training. They learned fire suppression. They learned evacuation. They learned some other essential skills. We hope we don't ever have to use it, but we've already had 3 times had to call 911 in our own office for members of the public who suffered a medical issue while in our office. Now our staff is better capable of handling those issues in the very short period until 911 and the EMTs arrive. And so we appreciate the staff doing that for us. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, magistrate comments. We'll start with Magistrate Yates.
Yes, Judge. I just want to invite everyone out for the 13th Annual Radcliffe Mayor's Community Breakfast. That'll be February 3rd at 9 a.m. So all you elected officials, like to see you there. Like to see you donate to the door prizes. There's lots of door prizes, lots of good things that'll be given out, so I'd like to see everyone out there.
Okay. Thank you. Magistrate Salzman.
Yes, sir. Next Monday is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and the NAACP has their annual Martin Luther King luncheon. It's going to be at the BT Bishop Christian Life Center, and it's starting at 10:30 on Monday. You can get tickets on Eventbrite, so I'd love to see lots of people out there. That's all I have, Judge.
All right, thank you. Magistrate Whitehead.
Yes, thank you. Just want to remind everyone that the Resources and Community Support Committee meeting will be January the 11th at 3:30. We would typically have that on Monday, the 15th, which is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, but with that being a federal holiday, we moved it to the 11th. And speaking of the Martin Luther King Jr. Day, I just want to encourage everyone to make an effort to give back to the community, which is one of the focuses of this holiday, and to try to strengthen our community in some way in recognition of this holiday. Also, today is National Law Enforcement Day, so I want to thank our law enforcement officers out there. Thank you for what you do, and thank you for keeping our community and our families safe. We need you, and you're always there to answer the call, so thank you for that. And other than that, I just want to welcome everyone into the new year. May you have a safe, blessed, and happy 2024. Thank you.
Thank you. Magistrate Clem.
Yes, Judge. I want to remind folks the Finance Committee meeting will be the 16th at 3:30, but there's a major change. We won't be across the hall. We'll be on the second floor in the planning room, the hearing room, because of the open house they're having over here. So just be mindful that it's on the second floor, same time. We'll have the room reconfigured to accommodate everyone. Also, the Town Hall Forum will be January the 30th at 5:30, and it's going to be here in the courtroom. So I want to invite the community out to participate. And I too want to say thank you to our local law enforcement. Love them all, pray for them all the time, and appreciate especially our local law enforcement as well. We've got the best in this area. And also, in that vein, don't drink and drive and don't text and drive.
All right. Magistrate Pennington.
Just want to say Happy New Year. That's it.
Magistrate Thompson.
In addition to Magistrate Clem's comments, while you're driving, consider your speed, especially in heavily populated areas or areas where there are people, pedestrians. And goodness, quit throwing your garbage out the windows. I had a neighbor who just recently picked up grocery bags full of garbage, and about every 10 feet he had a grocery bag full of garbage all along Gaither Station Road. And within 2 days after he picked it up, he probably could have picked that up again. So, goodness, if you travel Gaither Station, at least, let's stop trashing it up. Show some pride in our community. It's just a lack of pride to toss your garbage out publicly and trash. So I just challenge you to be better citizens. If you don't have, I guess, any compunction about tossing out garbage, what else are you likely to do? It starts with one small thing. I'd like to see our county and our state really be a place where it's pristine as far as the environment and litter. And I had a school principal when I was a child who there was never a piece of paper that was left on the floor in his classrooms, in his hallways. And that would, strangely enough, that was one thing that was something that I tried to make sure was instilled on students myself. He instilled it that we not trash our environment, whether it's inside and you're just tossing your garbage down. That's just hard to believe. And then to travel down the roads where our visitors, our public, people who might otherwise be drawn to our community, what kind of impression does it give? I mean, I really do appreciate the work that it provides for our inmates and the work that Josh does, and they stay right on top of it. But I want to challenge every citizen to do your best to make our county a true litter-free, clean county. Thank you.
Magistrate Hicks.
I don't have anything.
And then Magistrate Muse.
Just to remind everybody, the next Public Works Committee meeting's next Wednesday, the 17th of January. Thank you.
Judge, may I just want?
Yes.
I forgot, and I always do, and Aaron's kindly reminding me over there. Emergency Service Committee meeting will be Thursday, the 18th at 3:30.
All right, very good. Reminder, next fiscal court meeting will be January 23rd at 5:30 p.m. And we've already mentioned the holiday schedule, Martin Luther King Day, January 15th, next Monday, and will be closed. Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second, any objections? Meeting adjourned.